All right, you guys, this is Word on the Street.
Are we starting already?
I mean, I started recording. So.
Oh, okay.
This is Word on the Street. We are starting today off with, I went to the liquor store and I was looking for something fruity and smooth to try for New Year's because I don't really drink. So they didn't have any more than E41. And I love E41. Looks good.
It looks good. I like it sweet. I'm trying to get me drunk.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not.
And it's
good.
smooth.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not.
And I don't like, I don't really drink, so it's good.
Yeah. All right, who is
We
that?
recommend it.
Earl Stevens.
E40.
I thought you were New Year. Happy New Year, everyone.
So what's going on?
I have some goals, not necessarily resolutions.
Okay.
One specifically is to finish my CPA by the end of this year. So I am going to schedule all of the tests in every 3 months, because that will force me to study. So I have no excuse.
Yeah.
Get it done and get it over with, and moving on. And then I do have a weight loss goal, but who knows if I'll make it, because, when you get older, it's a lot harder to lose weight, especially for women. But, I'm going to lose 35 pounds. And
The difference between, when you said that, I'm like, I don't know the difference between a goal and a resolution.
I mean, they're pretty much the same thing, but, I think we put too much emphasis on like resolutions, like this is something that you're going to change for the next year, or it's pretty much the same thing. It's a goal, but there's always that hype of not meeting your resolution by the end of the year. So I just call it a goal.
Yeah.
And a resolution, a goal, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah. People feel bad when they don't reach the resolutions.
Yeah.
See?
I don't. Why I never really have one. I never really have them, so I don't have like this expectation that I'm not going to reach it.
I feel like I continue goals. Like I continue.
Yeah.
I have like a month resolution. Like next month.
I mean, you should always be striving for something better, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the whole thing of a resolution. Like, what are you going to do differently in this year that you didn't do last year? I think is more or less like what the resolution represents. Maybe we can look up what a resolution means on your phone.
What is the specific outcome you want to achieve? Like, what do I want to accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a goal. A resolution is a commitment to a behavior or mindset. How do you propose to act? How will I show up differently? I like that.
Last year.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
year.
So.
Okay. So how are you going to show up differently this year?
Oh, I'm definitely going to try to have. Last year I had a lot more patience. I'm going to try to have more patience.
Okay.
I think I try to observe more and have less reaction. I have more like inner reactions than I do like outward. Like I could stop talking to somebody and they wouldn't even know. Like it's not important for me to let them know. It's just go with how I feel.
Like you're speaking more, so.
I mean, like I speak my mind, but more of like when you observe something, like maybe you just don't like it, or you feel like something's just not for you anymore, or maybe you just feel like you don't fit into a space, or that space doesn't fit you. Yeah, like there's no need for me to try to like fit myself into that space. That and just kind of let it be what it is. Let it be what it is. Just showing up present, just being here.
Sometimes you can't always control.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you do have to let things just be. And knowing what part should you play in that, I think, because that's one of the things that I need to keep in mind as well. Like as I'm starting a new job next year, like there's things that I just don't really need to get involved in.
Yeah.
And that will
Every fight isn't your fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that'll help a lot of just career minded. Like I said, like people are not on the level that you're on, and sometimes you have a lot more to lose than other people have to lose, and you don't always have to get involved in the drama that's happening, or and they try to will you in, right? Like kind of, you just gotta remove yourself from situations that you really don't want to.
Yeah. I think it's like important for us to sound like some things we could talk about and we might be able to come to a mutual understanding. But I think some things are like when people say it's in you, not on you. You know what I mean? Some things are just in people, and so a lot of times we spend the time trying to argue with people or try to understand, like, why did you do this or why did you, right?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes
it's just an observation that you need to be making and a conscious note versus a verbal one.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like that person is raised like that, and their morals, that's where their values might not align with yours, and you can't put that in them. Especially not at 40, and, you know what I mean? Even 35.
Now, if they ask
30,
you for your opinion or something like that, but like a lot of times we put ourselves in situations that we don't have to, right? Like they didn't ask my opinion, they didn't ask me to step in or to even fix anything, right?
Exactly.
Like I was just there.
And I think that's what's going to be so cool about this podcast, because just being able to talk to different people, whether we all the way agree with their opinion, understand their opinion, or like even, now I'm not just going to sit here and go with
what they're saying.
But I think it's interesting from a respective way to be able to just like get deeper on what brings them to their resolution, how they're going to show up, right? Or how they're showing up now.
Or maybe that's something like they're sharing something, right? And they're sharing something that they're like probably passionate about. But you don't really fully understand it. So like you can ask like clarifying questions to kind of see, because maybe sometimes they don't even really fully understand it either. But that's the difference of the dynamics of the environment, having different people, is seeing the different opinions and different views. And we don't always have to agree. I don't know where this mindset came from where I have to like everything that you like. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
But we can still talk about it without
But that's what opens up our minds, right?
Yeah.
Like me not agreeing with something you saying and you explaining your point. And me respecting your point because I care about you.
I can see where you're coming from that, but it doesn't work for me, right?
Exactly. Like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work for me, though. It doesn't line up, but so I think that's, and just because the shoe fits doesn't mean you have to run from it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we talk about stuff and it's like, damn, you're right, but I'm doing the opposite over here in my life, right? Mm-hmm. Like, damn, I should stop smoking, but I just lit the blunt, right? It's like, but
I don't smoke, so I
know you don't smoke, but I'm saying,
and I'm okay with that, right? The presence of it, and I'm not.
But for me, it's like, okay, you have to, if things align with you, you have to put that shoe on, be able to lace it up respectfully, and be able to say, hey, yeah, I am in that boat too, or no, I'm not in this boat. And maybe you might have perceived I was, but let me explain where I'm on the outside, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that sometimes we clash a lot because we're not on the same boat, but we're just like, since we're not on it, you're on the outside, so I'm going to poke holes in yours.
Yeah, I'm not trying to understand where you're coming from. That's the part that needs to be fixed. Like, you can still understand, even though we're not on the same boat, I can still understand where you're coming from. I don't have to be in it.
Exactly.
And being respectful about it. Like I said, I don't have to like everything that you say, but I still love you, right?
Yeah.
It's still all love. It's not. It's not coming from a place of hurt or hurt or hate.
Like we're not big. What's funny because we have this podcast, but we're not big internet people.
No.
We're not big.
I share my husband's stuff, and pretty much that's it. And whatever you're gonna send me, this is all I'm gonna share.
And I'm on his podcast, but we're not big. So there's a lot of people who that's where they get out their frustration or their anxiety or their thought process for the day or whatever it is. They get it out there, and so I think that just finding people who find a safe space in the internet.
They do, but they have to also understand that somebody might comment on that, and you have to be okay with what somebody else is commenting on what you're putting out there.
Well, that's what we're going to talk to
You
you
are
about.
putting it out there.
That's right.
You have to be able to take the good and the bad. And maybe, you know, some of the bad isn't always bad. If it's like, to say it's like constructive criticism, you kind of have to understand what they're trying to say to you and see if that applies to something that you do need to change, or that, you know, that could help you grow. You know, it doesn't always have to be bad just because they don't agree with you. But you have to, if you're going to put it out there to the universe, you got to be okay with receiving the negative.
But I think there also has to be when we look at ourselves and say, just because you got 1.46 million likes doesn't make it good.
No.
Just because they will pump you up. You know what I mean? They will push you up for the downfall. They'll know they're putting you 5 stories high to jump off.
Yes.
And I've seen it happen, like, your whole friend group is cheering you on for your downfall.
Yeah.
And then when it's the downfall, people are just like, damn.
Exactly,
So
because it
you
doesn't affect them. But who does it affect? It's going to affect you and whatever your family or whatever it is that's closely attached to you. That's what it's going to affect. But these people that are commenting on it, it's not going to affect them.
It's entertainment.
Exactly.
It's entertainment. Our generation was so now in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't have it. No, like you told somebody you're going to fight them over the phone, over your mama's phone that she could have been listening in over. You're going to see them tomorrow because you're going to school.
Yes.
You're going to
pulling
fight
up somewhere.
You're going to, yeah. Like, there was no internet fighting back and forth. There was no.
You can't hide behind that, people.
You couldn't. If you wore Pro Wings, you could not post your cousin's Nikes and wear them to school. We know every day you wear Pro Wings to school. Like, you had to be proud of who you were and confident in that, and it was regardless.
Yeah, I think that needs to come back. As far as like you being comfortable with you, why do you feel like you have to match somebody else? Do you say,
Yeah.
I don't have to. I don't have to get a BBL. I don't have to get.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel like.
But it's
I'm
like,
not
if you
enough.
do get that BBL, get it because you want
Because you want it.
But if
Right.
you don't want to go work out, and this is what you want to do. Don't get it because your man's been looking at the girl with the big butt on the OnlyFans and you've been catching it. Don't get it because of that, sis. Because he's looking at the skinny one too. And it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So
if you're gonna do anything, do it for you. Stop living for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, when are we gonna start loving ourselves?
but shit, we have people, listen, how deep are we going to get? Because we have girls who have whole children.
You don't have any girls, but I have a girl, and I know she struggles with acceptance. But I think it's been, you know, the dynamics between her and her dad, like what he has taught her, what I have taught her, and she's trying to find this balance in between, but understanding that some of the things that he had taught her weren't right, you know, and like how does she combat that? You have to unravel some of that. And like, I was grateful that, you know, even through all of the things that I had been through, like I've had a sound mind through all of it, and I take a certain piece about it. I can't change it. You know, there's circumstances I cannot change, and you kind of just have to keep living. You know, like
sorry,
your turtle's true.
I know. He just ate a fish.
Oh wow, yeah.
One day you guys can see the turtle.
But yeah, it's, you know, like it's
how important a role, because I mean, I don't have girls, but I just know in my life the importance my dad played. How important do you think a male's role is in a young girl's life growing into?
I think it's important to have both the mother and the father input in any child's life. There are things that, like, he did with her, it was true, like, he just messed with her mind, I think, mentally, that she can't overcome. And it's not to say that, like, I know your dad is a big influence on your life, but not everybody has like a good male figure that's gonna do right by them. That's my point. Like, you wanted to keep her a child and not be able to make,
even though it wasn't
choices.
a positive, right? Because there's spectrum. So he still had, it sounds like, a major influence.
Yeah,
even though it
because that's
wasn't
what
positive,
she grew up with.
it was, but his influence was still major.
Very.
You know,
And it's, like I said, some of that stuff has to be unraveled with like the things that she sees me doing, or, you know, like teaching her, or, you know, and she'll be 28 in 2 days. Like, she's old, you know, like she's getting so much older, and I just want her to love herself.
I think a lot of times we, especially with girls, like mothers are important, right? But I think that the father figure, just because there's so many households where fathers aren't around consistently, I think their role gets downplayed a lot. And with males and females, children, I think it's really important for the father to be involved, especially, you know, sometimes when little girls are little, a father won't really, they say, oh, they're with their mom, but that's an important time too. You know what I mean? Those are the times when
They have.
you're,
Yeah.
oh, I was gonna say, when you're like around your friends, and you know, that's when you teach your daughter, you don't hug everybody. You don't sit on no man's lap. Those are the times that
Right.
a father asserts those. And, you know, with their boys, there's times where the father asserts, you know, that's not what you do right now. Or it's time to be quiet, or you don't speak on stuff. There's certain things that, like, I think a father just brings in that a mother has grace for. Like, my mom had a lot of grace for us, you know what I mean? But my dad had, like, no.
You're not supposed to do that, but
Yeah.
and in that, like, yes, they do. At the
That's
same
missing.
time, there's what's missing with my daughter is her chance to make good and bad choices and being corrected properly when she made those good and bad choices. Because now that you're older, life is whipping you because you didn't get a chance to do that when you were younger and be corrected when you were younger. You know what I'm saying? So now life is like really hitting you at an older age because you don't have anybody else to absorb the impact that you would have had while you were younger. Like, a lot of times we take on, you know, yeah, my child made a mistake and I'm correcting them, but the mother or the father is the one taking the impact of that consequence that they would have had to experience, but at the same time teaching them, you know, and I don't think that she got that.
As a parent, how do we pull off and make sure that our kids absorb that? And we're talking about from the time when they keep jumping off the chair, and we told them to stop jumping off the chair, and we know that that chair is about to slip from under them and they're going to fall. So instead of us removing that chair from the kitchen, we let their little selves fall, and they don't do it again. All the way up until they're 20-something speeding down the highway, and you can see them, and you up until where do you let them? You know what I mean? Like, what?
I mean, it's a sensitive subject, and it's going to be dependent on each child, right?
And each parent's raising, right?
Yeah, and each parent's raising. I've noticed with Sierra when she was younger, like she didn't like getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? She potty trained really early. But then once our family dynamics split, she no longer had me to let her make choices and feel a little bit of those consequences.
It wasn't a united front.
No, because then that got pulled from her, and her dad just covered her completely and didn't let her make a choice, period. It was always what either he wants.
Yeah.
And so now she's older, she can't make that choice that she should have been able to make. Okay? So, like, the way that I would have taught her versus the way that he would have taught her. Yeah, so now she's struggling. You know,
I've noticed that with some of the younger parents, there's guilt behind the discipline that has to follow the structure of And I'm talking about young children because I believe that it starts young. You can't just start giving a 16-year-old structure and telling them what to do and think what's going to happen.
You are
You know what I mean? And so I think with that, it's just like we have to look at, like I always tell parents, like, I understand your mom, maybe your mom used to do too much and she disciplined you, but you're not her. You can't let that hold you back from sitting your child down every time they do something that you know they shouldn't do, when you feel like, well, am I being the bad mom? That's in you. And now you're putting your insecurity on your child, who your child has that knows nothing about what your mom used to do when you were 5. Your child don't. All your child knows is that, okay, mom makes me sit down and then I bug her 3 times and I can get back up and I can do it over and over, right? And so I think that it's like, I guess that's where mental health comes in, because it's important for us to just see what's in us. Like, we all have little things and nobody's raised perfect. You know what I mean? There's little things in us, and so if we can identify them, then maybe we don't.
Well, like, you know, in that situation, like, I'm an older parent, right? Like, I have Miles. Miles gets away with a lot more stuff than my 4 children did before, right? And where that comes from, it's just, he's not fighting over toys. There's like little things that he does, like not listening to me, you know, and it takes me to get upset at him or raise my voice at him for him to listen. Then he knows I'm serious. I'm like, I shouldn't have to take that. And I tell him that all the time. Like, it shouldn't have to take me to raise my voice and get upset at you when I told you already not to do that or whatever. But you didn't listen to me when I had a calm voice. You listened to me when I had to raise it. And now you're calling me mean because I raised my voice at you. Well, no, I just told you.
I think households are different though, because like you said, he does little things. In my household, that would be the biggest thing, because you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
And then you're calling me mean. You won't have lips.
Oh.
I mean, you hate.
It's been a couple times.
Any of those, like, listen, those lips that you have, listen, right, Janice?
I know.
You don't even
like I said, no, I know.
When you have that whole
I'm very lenient with this one.
So, you know, I think just different.
There's an extent to
different households have different
you're
dynamics. You know?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
what do we say?
There is a dynamic to this, and it's not. There's no cheat code. There's no book. I mean, there's books out there, but come on. Every child is different. Every person is different. Every parent is different. Like, your demographics are different. Your environment. You know, everything is different, and you can't put it in a box all the time. And it doesn't work all the time. You know, I couldn't in this box. Like, I can't just tell you to sit down and lay down. That doesn't work. Like, I knew, like, with Malik, right? He's my oldest son. I knew that whooping him wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, that does nothing. But what I did make him do, like, if he was fighting with his sibling, I would make them hold hands. Do not let go of that child's hand. They could not let go of hands unless they can show me that they can play together without fighting.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, stuff like that. You have to be more creative depending on the personality of the child.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know.
I guess I didn't have too much time, and so I just raised 2.
But you had boys. You had boys, and you're a single mom for the most part, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like their dad was there, I was there, do you know what I'm saying? And as much as he was trying to not let me be there, I was there. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to just keep doing that.
But I think my youngest grew up faster, and my oldest had to have more patience. You know what I mean? Because they both have to understand we're not fighting, and if we're fighting, nobody's playing the game. I don't care that you're 5 years younger. I don't care that you're 5 years older. This is what the rules. Yeah. I'm not taking into consideration anything else. And I think some things it's like that. Because honestly, if you get pulled over for speeding, they're not going to take into consideration how you were raised, that your mom used to speed, that you're in a Corvette, that you're a nice person with a beautiful smile, that you got great grades. And I think they do that. Some things are some things are in a box. You know what I mean? And one thing that's in a box is listening to Denise. That's in that box.
Mm-hmm. It should be the first time that I say something that he should listen, but it's not always the first time that I say something. Like I said, it takes me to have the tone of an angry person for him to know that I was, that I was serious about what I said. But so me telling you, don't do that, and I'm talking to you very calmly, don't do that, and you keep doing it until I yelled at you. Yeah. And so I'm trying to get him to understand that I shouldn't have to keep yelling.
Because you're not a passive person. You're a patient person. We talked about that the other day. Mm-hmm. Like you're not even a quiet person. Like people think you're quiet. It's like she's not quiet.
I'm absorbing.
Yeah, but if there's something that you want to talk about, or if there's an interesting conversation, and you're like, okay.
I don't talk to everybody, so I don't know if you'll know that about me. Like people that I don't hang around often, it takes me a minute because I'm listening to you, and I'm deciding whether or not I want to share me with you. Yeah. And so I don't do that with everybody. So I will be quiet, depending on how you maneuver around me, because I protect my peace a lot, and I can't give that out to everybody. So like I said, my circle is really small. Super small. Yeah, it consists of like 2 people. And you're one of them.
That's why I said
it's aside from Elliot, which that's a given. I think for the longest when we first moved to California, because I came to California not having anybody with me. I don't have family here. I don't have friends that I grew up with here. I knew people from when I was a kid, but those relationships, they don't know who I am as I've grown up. They knew me when I was 10 and 12. There's a difference. So I don't have, like I said, I don't have anybody here. So for the longest, I was telling Elliot, I was like, just so you know, you're like my only friend. So if you're going to do something, you're going to have to take me. Like, you can't just leave me home. I don't have anybody else to hang out with. Yeah. So, and me and Elliot are really good friends, and I think that's important in a marriage anyway. But, yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people that I don't go outside, but it'd be interesting to get some of those people on here and some people from out of town, just to get some perspective. We got some people who things, and I don't agree with all of them, and I can't combat all of them. Mm-hmm. Some of them I just don't agree with, and why? Because I don't. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But we're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it. We're going to see what they have to say.
Yeah, well, it's 2026, and did you have any goals? Or resolutions?
Well,
we did talk about the one. That's kind of how we spiraled into this.
Yeah, just health and wealth. I'm trying to get the bag, I'm trying to get the bag. The bag is there. I'm just trying to get the bag, multiply the bag, keep the bag coming in. Pisces, we have that good karma going on, so just make sure I put it out, I just, I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited to give people just like a fun, safe, but real place to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're not here to invade anybody's privacy.
It's all in love.
It's all in love. We're not here to make anybody have any conversation they don't want to have. But I've noticed lately that on Facebook and Instagram and even on Threads, there's a lot of people who, what do they call it? They sub them. Like they feel a certain type of way about a friend, but then they'll be like saying stuff and you know who they're talking about, but they don't want to name names. And, then they have like these comments they post and it's like 50 paragraphs and now you got us invested. So now the audience, which is sometimes me, because I'm interested, we want to know. But I'm not reading 50
I'm not reading.
paragraphs. You know what I mean? I'm not reading. 50
You remember when you sent me a long paragraph a long time ago, and I mean, what was in that message? Because I told her, I said, I can't read.
Well, I'm just like, people.
I can't read that long message.
People put out their business, or there's these public issues going on, which respectfully I respect it, because speak on it. But because it's this time now, there's so much space between these conversations that sometimes they spiral out of control to a place where they don't need to be. So I would just hope that our podcast can go into a realm where people will feel comfortable to come on here and be able to just talk, because we don't want to read the 50 paragraphs, but we will sit here and get you through the conversation to explain to all of us what's going on. Now, you're not going to ramble here. You're not going to ramble. And we are going to ask the questions that you probably don't want to answer, because we need to know. We need to know what they did first, because we want that. We want you to get that out, because we don't know what you did.
I think a big part is accountability. Right?
Yeah. And so we want to know what you did, and we want to know what we can talk about so that the situation doesn't happen again. Because it's not really about them, it's about you.
Yeah. You have to understand the role that you played in whatever the situation is that you are.
Exactly.
Just understand, because if you don't get to understand the role that you played in it, you're going to always think that it's something else that caused it. Well, what role did you play in that?
And we get back what we put out from the universe, from God, from the higher creator. So you're putting out, like, you can't put out the negative and then think that it's positive. It just doesn't, like, as much as we wished it worked like that, it just doesn't work like that. So I just hope that people will see this as a safe space to do that. And if anything, I mean, just to, we're word on the street, but to just get their words out. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. I agree with you. All right. That's word on the street.
Happy 2026, everyone.